Paralympian Oscar Pistorius has been freed on parole from a South African jail nearly 11 years after murdering his girlfriend Riva Steenkamp. Crazy, eh? Mrs. Steenkamp was 29 years old and was a law graduate and a successful model who also worked as a TV presenter and appeared on a reality show called Tropical Island Treasure. So, Oscar Pistorius, have you ever heard of Oscar Pistorius? Oscar Pistorius is a South African gentleman that used to be a very, very good athlete. He has been freed on parole on a South African jail nearly 11 years later after murdering his girlfriend. Yes, murdering his own girlfriend. So, this guy was a genius. He was really a great sportman. That's unfortunately, very unfortunate situation happened around him, where one night, him and his girlfriend had a situation. She was very upset. She went to the bathroom, and later on, he woke up and shot through the door of the bathroom 4 times with his pistol. And she was down. The next morning, she was taken to morgue, and he was taken to a police station. And after the trial, he said he shot through the door because he thought it was an intruder in a toilet. We all know South Africa is a very violent country in terms of, violence crimes and a lot of things like that happen in South Africa. And Mr. Oscar Pistorius was afraid for his life. Mr. Oscar Pistorius said he was afraid for his life. He believed somebody was in the toilet hiding behind. That's why he shot 4 times. And his girlfriend,
she wasn't breathing.
I don't wish that on any human being. Finding out what happened, it devastated us.
First of all, from the South African Police Services side, we can confirm that there was a shooting incident this morning at the home of the well-known Paralympic athlete Oscar Pistorius.
Number 60 of 2000, the accused is found guilty.
Okay, did you get the story? Now he's out on parole. He was sent to jail for many, many years, but now he's out. As per the South African law, if you do half the years that you were supposed to be doing in jail, you can come out. If you behave yourself, you can come out and do normal things and be restricted from certain things, but you can participate in society. And that's a big news. Okay, you don't understand. Certainly. Let's start over. This man right here is Oscar Pistorius. Oscar Pistorius is a very particular human being. Pistorius lost both his legs when he was still a child. His lower legs were amputated when he was still less than a year old due to a congenital condition. He was born with no fibulas, the smaller of the 2 lower leg bones. He subsequently relied on prosthetic and became a world-renowned athlete as the Blade Runner. I'm sure you've seen about this guy before on TV, on many competitions. He ran like nobody. He like that. You remember that cartoon? That big, beep, beep. Yeah, he was that guy. He won a lot of competition worldwide. He gained a lot of gold medals, won world championships. He was a well-respected athlete from South Africa. Yes, fellas, South Africa has white people too. Okay, I know many of you are very surprised. Yes, absolutely. Very quickly, white people came from Europe. They came to Africa. In some part of Africa, they came to steal and run away. In South Africa, white people came not to steal and run away. They came to stay. That's why, up until today, you can still see a lot of white people living in South Africa. So Oscar Pistorius happened to be a descendant of those white people. Okay, that's just for some of our people here who don't understand how come a white person could be in South Africa or could be South African. Let's continue. He's had a successful career on a track, first as a Paralympic, winning multiple gold, and then cementing his reputation after competing against non-disabled athletes at the London Olympics in 2012. So this man ran amazingly against other paraplegics, and he won many, many times. Then in 2012, he ran against people that were normal, no injury, no handicap. That's how great the man was. But unfortunately, stories go along the line saying that Mr. Pistorius, that you see here, was dating a beautiful young lady named Riva Steenkamp. This is the lady right here. She was beautiful. She was a law graduate, successful model. She was a TV presenter.
Hey guys, I'm Riva, and I'm begging you to not miss the first episode of Tropical Island of Treasure 5, shot in Jamaica, this Saturday on SABC 1.
And appeared in a reality show called Tropical Island Treasure. So she had a great future, this lady. Now, these are the stories that we hear. The first story is that Mr. Pistorius was a very particular human being. They had an issue, him and his girlfriend, okay? And the girlfriend was very upset, and he was very upset. She went running into the bathroom and locked herself in the bathroom. That was at night when they were fighting each other. Then he got really upset. He pulled his pistol. He shot through the door, and she was unalived.
She wasn't breathing.
We'll take an adjournment. Court will adjourn.
Now, according to Mr. Pistorius, the reason why he shot through the door is because he firmly believed that an intruder was behind the door. He locked himself in the toilet. So because he feared for his life, which we can understand, I mean, being a person with no legs, how can you fight somebody with full legs? Unless you have a weapon or something. There's nothing you can do about it. He said he believed firmly there was a human being behind the door, in the toilet, an intruder in the toilet, and he feared for his life. That's the reason why he shot through the door. Some people believe that's not the truth. Some people believe they had a fight. Some people believe Mr. Pistorius was indeed somebody very short-tempered, very trigger-happy. He had apparently had incidents prior to that where he reacted in a way that was very questionable. Apparently, before that, he harassed a very young lady, 19 years old, in some parties. So apparently, from those information, he was known as being somebody very trigger-happy. He shot a few times in some places and very upset, very short-tempered. Now, one person could say, maybe, when you have some physical issues, there could be perhaps, maybe, a feeling of being threatened by a girlfriend, beautiful woman getting attention from many other human beings. These are ideas people presented. Could he have been maybe jealous of his girlfriend for interacting with somebody? And that's why he was confronting her in that situation. And because she feared for her life, she went and locked herself in the bathroom. And he decided to purposely. That was one of the line of thought. The other line of thought is that Mr. Pistorius was indeed afraid for his life. And that's the reason why he decided to, through the door, thinking he was taking out an intruder. Now, I want to know, what do you think about this? Do you think, Mr. Pistorius was indeed scared for his life? That's the reason why he shot. Or do you think he was just angered, or was just upset? Or maybe he was just trying to intimidate this woman, not necessarily wanting to finish her, but just because you want to scare her and you through the door, and by bad luck, you just happen to hit her. I want to know how you feel about this. So many people are not happy to see him out after 11 years. So obviously, if it's 11 years and in South Africa, after half a years of your condemnation, you can come out, it means he got around about 23 years in jail. And many people are not happy that he's out. But the South African Department of Correctional Service say that despite his high public profile, the former star will be treated like anyone else on parole. Under the South African law, all offenders are entitled to be considered for parole, meaning early release under certain conditions, once they have served half of their total sentence, which for Pistorius was finally set at 13 years and 5 months. So in South Africa, if you do a crime and you are condemned for 20 years, for instance, after 10 years, you can come out on parole. I don't know how good that is. I mean, well, as an offender, obviously, everybody deserves a second chance. But as people who lose somebody, I don't know how that feels. I'm not sure. So they say while in prison, Mr. Pistorius, who's known as Ting Ting by many people, I mean, this man has done tremendous things. He was an amazing athlete. Yeah, he shocked the world. While he was in prison, apparently he behaved himself correctly. Pistorius drove a tractor on the ground in prison. He worked in a library and cleaned inmate cells. He was cleaning the cells for the inmates, according to legal documentation. And he's tried very much to do good things. Social workers and psychologists also wrote positive reports about him.
Did Oscar Pistorius get special treatment?
No, this was just a myth.
Let's put Mr. Pistorius aside, okay? This is Pistorius. You know his story now. He happened to shoot through the door and his girlfriend was unalived. Very sad situation. Some people believe he did it on purpose because he was jealous, because he could not control himself, because he had insecurities. Some other people believe that he felt there was an intruder, a dangerous person in the toilet. That's the reason why he pulled out his pistol and unaliving that young woman. Now, put Mr. Pistorius aside. I want to know from you, is it okay to release somebody on parole? I mean, for crimes like that? Yeah, because Unfortunately, in many instances, especially in South Africa, when somebody does something really crazy, and we're not talking about Mr. Pistorius, we're talking about normal people every single day. Criminals, they will do a major crime. They be arrested, sent to jail. Then they will pay for bail. Pay for bail. I mean, you pay a lot of money, they let you out. And I understand that's the law. But what happens next is people get out of jail, then they will cooperate, they will discuss with some of the police, and this corrupt police personnel will go and steal the files of this person that was liberated. They will make the proofs and the evidence disappear, and the case will just vanish. You cannot prosecute a person where evidence are not there anymore. And what does that do? It's perpetuate the cycle of crime. So the criminals know, I'll do something wrong to you, it's okay, I'll go to jail, I'll go to prison for a little bit, then I pay bail. When I pay bail, I get out. And I will cooperate, I'll talk to somebody, I will find a crook, illegal police officer, obviously, give him some money, he's gonna go and steal some of the files that, incriminating me, and that's it. The cycle continues. And this is not necessarily the case of Mr. Pistorius. This is one of those cases. In every story, there's always a three sides. There's your side of the story, my side of the story, and the truth. Whatever the truth is in this case, we don't quite know. Nobody was there. But I want you to tell me how you feel about this. Do you think Oscar Pistorius, the tremendous athlete that he used to be, shot through the door because he was afraid for his life? Because he genuinely thought that somebody was behind the door? Or do you feel he did that because of his insecurities? Because maybe he just wanted to intimidate this lady, just to scare him, and by mistake. He didn't intend to do it because it just happened. Let me know how you feel about this. It's always a great pleasure. God bless.